My name is Sully, better known as Pius. I can help with surahs, so I can recite.
My name is Suhaila, memorizing surahs, reading the Quran, and practicing the Sunnah.
My name is Mommy, better known as Ummi. Islamic education is key to the family. We tune in every day to learn something new, and Sunnah Followers is helping us, and it could help you too. Tune in every day for new programming. Stay tuned.
And much more.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wake up in the morning, hands and feet get wet. My Lord, get wet. Get wet, my Lord. Wet, my Lord. Wet, my Lord. Wake up in the morning, hands and feet get wet. Getting ready for our conversation, deep and in depth. Obligations are serious and need to be met. So I prepare so I won't forget. Go ahead and make a good intention. Yeah, yeah. You can wrap up some good things. Yeah, make a donation to the side and go from left to make it right. Just remember and don't lose sight. Jannah is the goal. Jannah is the goal. Jannah is the goal.
Hey, I got a couple questions for y'all. The first one, who is your Lord? What is your religion? Who is your prophet? Now, I know this sounds crazy, but if you're one of those people that have been trying to get information and you come across this, or even this. All right, take a listen.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Sister Laila Nasheeba, the Managing Director and founder of SunnahFollowers Online Islamic University. As you know, we have classes every day beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we cover everything from Aqidah, which is your belief system, to Seerah, which are the stories of the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the story of the companions. Please join us every day beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are broadcasting and streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, DLive, Trovo, and Twitch. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Proper Aqidah, Quran and Sunnah, Quran and Sunnah, Minhaj and Aqidah, actions speak louder than words,
Sunnah following kids, come with me.
Gotta work hard to get to heaven. Treat the people good like the prophet would. Proper Aqidah, Quran and Sunnah, Quran and Sunnah, Minhaj and Aqidah, actions speak louder than words,
Assalamu alaikum. This is Yusuf and this is Ayub. And if you are benefiting like we are from the classes and the ongoing programming, tuning into the Sunnah Followers, please donate. Let this be an ongoing Sadaqah Jariyah on your behalf. You're helping the kids, the deaf, and everyone seeking knowledge. And it's a wealth of information every day you tune in. Don't forget, you are being rewarded for your generous donations to keep this programming on air. You know, just like what you're hearing, put your dollar where the dollar's at. Right here on Sunnah Followers. Don't forget, donate. Right here to Sunnah Followers and Dollars Ajadi. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Join us every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Access to Laila live call-in and answer show. Please join Ustadha Laila Nasheeba. If you have any questions in regards to this theme, call in at 862-370-2838. Now streaming on various platforms right here on Sunnah Followers.
The human brain is a marvel of creation, intricately designed to seek meaning and connection. During Ramadan, this quest for spiritual fulfillment is heightened. Fasting activates areas of the brain that are associated with empathy, self-control, and reflection. Join us this Thursday at 6:15 p.m. for an enlightening lecture by Dr. Daniel Abdulrahman McBride on the fascinating connection between the brain, religion, and Ramadan.
There are so many things going on around, you must take heed. It's been written and prophesied about, so you must believe. Not everything that glitters is gold, pay attention as it's been told.
Join us every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, with Brother Yusuf as he tackles and breaks down current events, current news, and politics, and the Islamic Ummah. Please join us, streaming on all major platforms. Channel SunnahFollowers.
Alhamdulillah, it is that time again. Increase our worship and plead for forgiveness. Alhamdulillah, it is that time again. Increase our worship and plead for
Need inspiration? Need to brush up on the do's and don'ts during this blessed month? Join us for Sunnah Followers Ramadan Prep and allow Ustadha Laila Nasheeba to walk you through day by day through this blessed month of Ramadan. This will keep your iman tight, your ibadah right, and keep you pushing in the light. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel SunnahFollowers.
Ina alhamdulillah, wassalat, wassalam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to the 19th day of Ramadan, the year 2025. And we are now embarking upon the last 10 days of this fasting for this year. There's only 2 holidays that we celebrate in Islam. And those two holidays are Ramadan, in which we celebrate by fasting the entire for 29 to 30 days. And then the other holiday is when the month during the month of Hajj. It doesn't entail fasting or anything except for those people who can perform the Hajj. That's it. Okay. There's nothing else to celebrate. First of all, a lot of people, like someone asked me earlier today, woke me up out of my sleep. A lot of people say, Laila, you sound weird. Yeah, I try to, everybody knows their strength and their weaknesses. And I have to make the attempt to fast. I have that GERD and I got it under control. I know how to do it. If I sleep, I stay up all night long because I'm a third shift person anyway. I stay up all night doing my lectures, preparing my classes, cleaning my house, and all of that on purpose. I go to sleep by no later than 10 o'clock in the morning because I know if I sleep is Allah's way of resting you. And if you got a sickness like GERD, whereas y'all see, I'm always constantly drinking. I'm drinking coffee, but y'all don't know. Y'all see me drinking coffee when I'm sitting here talking to y'all doing classes. When I ain't doing classes, people that know me like Latifah and them, Laila got a jug of water. I go through a whole case of water in a week. I go through 24 bottles of water in less than a week because with GERD, you have to keep flushing that acid out. What's going to come up. So what I do is I try to go to sleep by 10 o'clock in the morning and I wake up at 6 on purpose. At 6 because that leaves me 1 hour. 1 hour. I can go that 1 hour doing like what I do without that attack, GERD attack, water. But today, one of you guys woke me up, kept blowing my telephone up like crazy. And it's one of the new shahadas. I mean, I don't mind. But the question that the sister asked was her whole family, and I'm glad she did call me because the kids wanted to know, her children wanted to know, why is it that Allah has only given us 2 holidays as Muslims? Why hasn't Allah given us more than that? Okay, well. First of all, like I told her and her family, they had me on the loudspeaker. We should never question why Allah does anything. Allah does whatever he wants. But, being new shahadas, it's a valid question. So I had to explain to them. And I said this, the question is so good of a question because that I'm going to explain it to you all here. We have to understand what our purpose in life is. Allah did not create us to party. Allah did not create us to just live it up without consequences. Allah created us to worship him. And this world, this dunya, this earth, and by the way, the earth, one of her kids wanted to know, why is it, how is it that the earth rotates and it doesn't fall out of space? The angels, remember I did the series on the angels. What is it that holds the earth in space? The angels of Allah are holding the earth in space. Okay, so that's why we're not falling down. Okay, so, but we were created. Allah created this earth to be the testing ground for us. Our main purpose in life is to believe in Allah and worship him alone. He created the earth and he put on the earth beautiful things. We have animals. He created the animals, the birds, the bees, the trees, the mountains, the oceans, the lakes, the rivers, everything that Allah created He created to service us, because out of all of the creations of Allah, we are the highest. We're even higher than the angels, because we have that free will, that gift and curse of free will, which is the ability to choose. The mountains, they do what Allah command them to do, which is to hold the earth steady so we don't feel it when it rotates. The ocean, it flows as Allah commands it to do. The animals, they do what Allah commands them to do, provide food, clothing, shelter for us. They don't think. They carry out their obligations. But we choose to either do what we were created to do what we were commanded to do, or not. And that's what makes us of a higher status than all the other creations. Okay? The bees were created to produce honey, to make honey for us. They do that. The ants were created to keep the earth purified for us. They do that. Okay? That's why we don't worship animals. That's why we don't worship the trees. That's why we don't worship the sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, because they were all created to service, to provide a service to us. Okay? But we, on the other hand, Allah put us here. He surrounded us by most things in this world are good and clean. Most things in this world are lawful for us. But there are some things that He's forbidden us to indulge in, because these things will be dangerous for us. And Allah knows that with our free will, we will choose either to listen to Him and obey Him or not. So this world is a testing ground for us. Allah didn't create us to party and have fun. He said, live here on earth. Enjoy the good things that I have provided for you, but stay away from the bad things I provided for you. And as you live here on earth, understand that there's balance. There's balance. You don't want to indulge too much in working and neglect your other obligations, and you don't want to indulge in another obligation and neglect that. So Allah created us, put us on earth. This is our testing ground to see if, number one, we're going to obey Allah and stay away from the few things. There's only a few things that are haram. Stay away from them. Okay? And also live your life here with balance. With balance. With balance. So if we do that, it's partying. If there was a holiday every month, come on, guys, we wouldn't take this life serious. If Allah had made a celebration for every month, that takes us away, from what our purpose is. Our purpose is to remember Allah. Our purpose is to enjoy the good things here, but find balance where we don't become so much engrossed in those things that we neglect the law. Because remember, our nature is we want to get lost. Our nature is we want to escape. Why is it that intoxicants appeal to us? Why is it that people smoke drugs? Why is it people use drugs, alcohol? They want to escape the reality of life. They want to escape the fact that we were created to worship Allah and make the best decisions for ourselves. Okay, it's easy to get lost and you don't want to make decisions. You just want to give in to your desires. So Allah knows us. He knows the nature of man. So all we have is 2 celebrations. There's no need to party. Remember Him. Enjoy the good things with balance. Stay away from the evil things. And you can compare the life of the non-believers. They have holidays every week. They got so many celebrations, I can't keep up with them. Okay? But look at the non-believers. Life is nothing but a party for them. They don't believe in Allah. They do bad things. They don't obey him. They don't avoid the things he commanded. And life is just all about what makes them feel good, because the soul, the human soul, is attracted to what makes it feel good. The left brain, that's the part of the brain that's connected to the part of the heart where your jinn resides. Your personal jinn wants you to give in to what feels good. Okay? So Allah, created us this way. All we need are 2 holidays. We don't need anything but Ramadan, okay, and the Eid al-Adha. That's all we need, because life is not a game of fun. We have a purpose. Our purpose is to prove to Allah that we do believe in him and that we do submit to him. And Allah didn't guarantee life for any of us. None of us know when the angel of death is going to come and take our soul. So we don't know when we're going to die. We don't know how long we have here, but we want to make the most of our time here. Okay? So I want you guys to think about that. And our celebrations, these 2 celebrations we have, they're all about making us better people, bringing us closer to Allah. They're all about sacrificing, learning yourself, doing away with the evil part of yourself. It's all about reconnecting, recharging your relationship with Allah. The Kafirs don't do that when they celebrate. It's all about what feels good. And good feelings are only temporary. Even when they smoke that marijuana, it's just a temporary high. It goes away. And when it goes away, they're faced with the reality that they do have to change their life. So what do? They say, pass me another joint, and continue to live in an oblivion of highness. Okay? And that's what I want you guys to think about, because we're at the end of Ramadan almost. There's only 11 days left. 11, possibly 12 days left of Ramadan. This beautiful tranquility that we have lived under for the past 2.5 weeks is about to end. Allah has sent lunar eclipses during this time. Guess what, guys? We have another eclipse. We have a solar eclipse that's supposed to hit us on the 24th of this month. So enjoy this tranquility, because after this tranquility, this Ramadan ends, we're going to be awakened to some real calamities. Okay? Because Allah is not pleased with us. He's not pleased with us at all. You look at the news, you look at the Muslims that's still praying in the filthy streets instead of praying in the masjids. Allah is not pleased with us. So enjoy this tranquility, because it's going to end. Like Allah says, nothing is forever. And we have another eclipse. This one will be a solar eclipse on the 24th of March. And they say that it will be visible across the Western world too, just like everybody in the Western world. When I say Western world, I'm talking America, South America, Australia, and Europe. Allah already got his calamity happening to the Middle East. Okay? It's time for us to answer to the choices we've made in the West. As the Prophet Muhammad said, every trial, every calamity that impacts this ummah will begin in the Middle East. It will begin in Syria and Iraq and spread across the Middle East. Then it'll make its way through Africa, which is done. And then it'll make its way through the Western world. And many of the scholars say that when Allah sends an eclipse, Eclipses are signs of Allah's anger, and he's about to send wrath. Many of the companions said that too. I believe that as well. Okay? Because every time it's an eclipse, it's always punishment. Okay? So enjoy this. We've had one eclipse, which was lunar, and that was a red moon. We have a solar eclipse on the 24th, and every part of the world that saw that lunar will see that, be able to see that too. We'll see what happens after Ramadan. It already started here. A lot of people in the South. The tornadoes. Tornadoes that's happening in the South right now as I speak. Here in America. Get ready. All right, so tonight what I'm going to speak about is how to make the most of these last 10 days of Ramadan. How to make the most of these last 10 days of fasting. So let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Inshallah, everybody can see. All right. The road to righteousness. This is why we fast. As everyone here should know, the purpose of fasting is to make us righteous, better people. That's why we fast. Well, tonight we're going to speak about how to make the most of these last 10 days. These last 10 days. These last 10 days of Ramadan. And I've talked about this hadith. There are several hadiths that I talk about a lot that most of the da'iyah do. Okay, there are some very well-known hadiths where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to make the most of our time. And this is one of my favorites that Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, says. He said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, grab 5 things before 5 other things happen. In other words, make the most of 5 things before 5 other things happen. Number 1, make the most of your youth before you become old. Number 2, make the most of your health before you become sick. Number 3, make the most of your money before you end up with being poor. Number 4, make the most of your leisure time before you are forced to have to work. And number 5, make the most of your life before death comes knocking on your door. Subhanallah. This is a scary hadith when you ponder the meaning of it. How many of us can relate to this? When we were young and when we were healthy, there's so many things we could have done. We could walk, we could jump, we could run, but we didn't take advantage of that. We put off making Hajj. Oh, I'll wait till I'm half dead to make Hajj so I can be forgiven for my sins. And now that you are in your 60s, you can't walk. Your knee is gone. You can't walk a mile. You have to be pushed. You took advantage. You didn't take advantage of your youth and your health. Now that you're old and sick, you wish you had it. That happens to a lot of us. How many of us can remember when we had money, when Allah did bless us with money, or I didn't have to work? I was at home all day and all I had to do was take care of my kids. I didn't appreciate that. I always complained. I complained to my husband about not spending enough time with me. And then when my husband died, now I'm forced to work. I got to work. I wish for those days when I could be at home, not having to deal with the fitna of dealing with non-Muslims and the time clock and all of that. So many of us fall victim to these 5 things. Remember, guys, we were created to worship Allah. We were put here on this earth to be tested in our belief in Him. How many of us take advantage in a good way of the blessings Allah has given us, such as our age, our health, and all of that? Okay? Our Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to call upon the Muslims to do good deeds, because you never know when you're going to be struck with a calamity that's going to prevent it. Like I said, enjoy the peacefulness of these last days of fasting. We done had an eclipse. We got another one about to happen. Only Allah knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Allah could send a hurricane to take your house out, like it's taking out some of the homes in the South as I speak. Okay? Allah can send an earthquake that can destroy you and everything you got. Okay? So our Prophet used to tell the companions to do good deeds, because you never know what obstacles will arise. For instance, he told the companions, he said, lose no time in doing good deeds before you are caught up by one of the 7 calamities. Either a starvation that can impair your judgment, or a prosperity which can mislead you, or sickness that can damage your health, or old age which can harm your thinking capacity, or a sudden death. You can die suddenly, or the Antichrist, or the day of judgment. And those are the most bitter of all. Subhanallah, guys. Why did the Prophet mention the Antichrist and the doomsday in this hadith? Because he also said, anyone who lives to see the Antichrist come, if you did not believe in Allah and you were not firm upon the straight path before he came, you ain't gonna change when he does come. You're gonna be on his side. And another hadith, he said, anyone who lives to see the last hour and they didn't believe in Allah before it, or practice this religion before it, they ain't gonna believe in it after. Also in another hadith, he said, anyone who lives to see the war against Islam, which is already in progress, but when they declare war against all Muslims, all Islam, all over the world, he said, whoever amongst you did not truly believe in Allah before that declaration, any of you who were not practicing this religion before then, you ain't gonna believe after then. You're doomed. You're doomed. You're doomed. And that's something scary to think about. Very, very scary to think about, guys, because I keep telling you, I keep reminding all of you and myself too, that most of the people you know who are Muslim are going to be in hell. Out of every 1,000 Muslims you know, 999 of them are going to be in hell, people. That's the reality. We got bad people on earth today, bad Muslims. It's not that many good ones. They're bad. They're not praying. They're not practicing. They're slandering the scholars. They're slandering each other. They're changing the religion. They're making things lawful that Allah made haram, and vice versa. They have no respect for their elders. They have no respect for their women. They making babies like nothing, but those children ain't growing up upon the straight path. They're producing babies, bringing babies in the world. But those babies are not being raised as Muslims. Subhanallah. We're bad people today. That's the reality. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay? So our Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to tell the companions, don't lose out on doing good deeds before you are hit with those trials of life. So this hadith urges us to take the initiative, to not put off doing good deeds. Don't keep saying, I'm going to make Hajj, I'm going to make Hajj, and you ain't doing it. Make it. Don't keep saying, I'm going to start wearing a hijab, I'm going to start practicing my deen, and you ain't started yet. You need to do it now, because calamities. Remember, the earth is a testing ground. Allah says in the Quran, just because we say we believe in him is not enough. He's going to test us to see if we truly do. Okay, so take advantage. Take advantage of the time and do good deeds. Subhanallah. There's also a hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was speaking about the state of mankind. He said, if a man becomes worried about something, he'll rush and do stuff then. And that's so true. If you worried about something, you get busy then. If you worried that you can't pay your rent next month, oh, you'll run to work and sign up for overtime and get stuff done then. Okay? And then when you hurry up, you will end up reaching your destination. And that's how we are for the things in this world that are transient. But why come we can't rush and do things for Allah? We put off doing good deeds for Allah, but we don't put off doing them for ourselves, our children, our families. Okay? We have to remember, guys, our personal jinn, he never leaves us. He knows what your desires are. He knows what your weaknesses are. And he's going to do everything in his power to stand in the way of you doing what's pleasing to Allah. But if you were aware of that, if you focus more on the fact that your jinn is trying to prevent you from having a good ending, then you turn and do it. You do the things that you should do. You'd go and make Hajj. You'd start practicing your religion. You'd start wearing that hijab now. And by the way, I want all you Muslim women to look at this picture. This is the way many of you are dressing. This is not lawful. I repeat, this is not lawful. I repeat, this is not the proper dress for a Muslim woman. You call yourself a businesswoman and you going out the house like this. Allah says, oh, you women who believe, draw your kimar over your bosom. Just because you flat-chested don't mean that you can walk out the house looking like that. That kimar is not over her bosom. It's over her neck. That kimar is supposed to come down to cover her little knobs. Okay? What's the point? What's the point in having a tight-fitting top on that's open with your breasts hanging out? You sisters got to stop dressing like this. This ain't how we dress. You trying to blend in to be accepted by the kafir. You may be accepted by them, but you ain't accepted by Allah. That kimar has to cover your knobs. I don't care if they ain't but a size A. Cover it. And what is it doing open? Why are you sisters wearing these tops that's open, showing your stuff? Are you people Cardi B idiot? You Cardi B idiots. This is not the proper dress for a Muslim woman. Put an abaya, an overgarment that is baggy and loose, that's not open to emphasize your little bitty knobs. And that kimar got to come all the way down to cover them knobs. You women better get it together. It's disgusting. Look at this picture. How many of you Muslim women are dressed like her? I took the time to find these pictures. Oh, yes, I did. Mm-hmm. What's up with the blazer look? Why are you Muslim women wearing this blazer look? This is the new style now, okay? Ain't nothing wrong with the makeup. Makeup is not haram. I don't care what these brothers tell you. They ain't gonna ever in their life be able to create the verse that says it's haram, because even the prophets' wives wore makeup. Makeup ain't the problem. The problem here is, what's up with these blazers you women are wearing? And these pants You got the blazers open and your knobs. There's your knobs. Are you women crazy? This is not the proper dress for a woman. Not a Muslim woman. Her kimar is to the front. But look at this. There the knob is. And you're not supposed to wear tight-fitting pants. If you're going to wear pants, they have to be harem pants. Okay? They can't be tight-fitting. You sisters are on the campus trying to blend in like the Kaffir. Oh, yeah. You wonder why Allah is angry. Why Allah is sending all these tornadoes and hurricanes taking your campuses out. Okay? This is how you women walking around in college. You need to take your behinds home and cover up. Yeah, this is not the proper dress. Yeah, she looks like Elma, doesn't she? Elma, she looks like you. She's pretty like you are. She looks like my Elma. But Elma dresses properly. All right, so now what I'm going to do is speak about how to make the most of your time. Nope, that's not Elma. Somebody asked me, is this Elma? She looks like Elma, but no, this is not Elma. Yeah, Elma dresses properly. She's Albanian. She know how to dress. Okay, this is how these American Muslim women dress. All right, so now what I want to do is speak about how to make the most of your time. We're going into these last 10 days starting tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the first of the last 10 days of Ramadan. So how to best manage your time. Let me give you some examples. Remember, we talked about with Dr. McBride. It's all about setting goals. You're going to use the right side of your brain to set a big picture. And then you're going to use the left side of your brain to identify what your goals are. Okay, the right part of the brain sees the big picture. For example, I want to lose weight. Let's say that's a goal. I want to lose 75 pounds. I'm making stuff up. Your right brain makes that. But now the left brain is going to identify the process. This is what I want us to work on these last 10 days. And by the way, my GERD. If we identify your goals, you have to identify them to spend time on the most important matters in your life. And in this case, we're talking about the last 10 days. So our goals should be specific. They should be measurable and they should be documented so you can review them at the end of these 10 days to see if you met those goals. Okay? And every goal should have a specific deadline. For example, your goal should not be to memorize some of the Quran. Instead, pick a surah. Okay, we got 10 days left of Ramadan. My goal is to memorize Surah Nur. Surah Nur. And I want to have it memorized in 7 days. I'm just making stuff up. So you make a date. You make a date. All right? And I also put here the example of losing weight. This is after Ramadan. Say you want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, what and how long? Okay, I want to lose it. You use the left brain. 3 months. In 3 months, I want to be lost 20 pounds. So you identify a goal, and then you set a time limit for it. And then when you, at the end of each year or the end of each year of that goal, you review it to see how you achieved it. So we're setting goals for these last 10 days. My goal is to memorize Surah An-Nur, okay? My goal is to have that closet cleaned out. It could be a goal like that. I want to have the closet cleaned out by the end of Ramadan. I want to have the garage cleaned out by the end of Ramadan. I want my children to have learned the Fatiha, the Tashahud by the end of Ramadan, whatever it is. Identify the goal. And remember the long-term goals. These are the goals that's after Ramadan. It could be the losing weight or memorizing a larger surah or something. That's the big picture. The right side of your brain does that. And once you have identified your long-term goals, then your mission should be to answer the following questions. What do I really want in life? Now, when Dr. McBride was teaching about setting goals, many of you asked the question, how do I set goals? Say, for example, you want to make some goals outside of Ramadan, but you don't know how to do it. Or maybe you want to set some short-term goals for these last 10 days. Well, I'm going to tell you how to come up with a goal. Sit down and ask yourself, what do I really want in life? Or what do I really need in life? Then ask yourself, what is the purpose of my existence? Then ask yourself, why did Allah create me? Okay, by asking yourself those three questions, this should help you to come up with a goal, because everything begins with and ends with Tawheed, belief in the oneness of Allah. So as a Muslim, our mission in life is to worship Allah, to prove to him that we truly do believe in him and put him above everyone and everything, including ourselves. I was created to either end up in hell or end up in paradise. Which way am I headed? For you sisters, it's not dressing correctly. Your goal should be to start dressing the way Allah commanded, with an abaya, with a khimar covering your bosom. And your voice is not, I repeat, is not supposed to be soft. I don't care what these sick brothers on the internet today are telling you when they try to say, don't talk like Layla. They don't want you to talk like me because I'm obeying Allah. Allah commands the believing woman to make her voice strong and loud when she speaks publicly, intimidating. So that should be a goal too. You're going to stop with those fake accents and stop with those lily voices. You're going to end up in the hellfire because of that. So your goals should focus on your mission, which is to make it to paradise. And charity begins at home with you. Your goal should be to dress properly, you Muslim women. Your goal should be to pray at the mosque, you Muslim men, not praying in the street, not praying in your college dorm. Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Your praying in the Kafir college is not a masjid. The masjids are the houses of Allah, and they're maintained by the believers. So your goal should be that I ain't gonna pray at the Kafir campus no more. I'm going to take my behind to the masjid and do my prayers. Okay? So this is how you determine what your goals are. And then you work on managing your time so you can achieve those goals. Because planning offers you to be able to do the following. If you plan things out, it tells you how to get from where you are to where you need to be. If you plan it out. And also, if you plan it out, it identifies the required task and resources needed to get you where you need to be. For example, you sisters got to go to the right places to shop and buy your clothes. Okay? Planning is the key to controlling the things in your life. And from planning, you can be proactive in achieving your goals. So it's time to work on these goals these last 10 days. Not just the goals for the last 10 days, but even after. Your short-term goals, which are the last 10 days, and your long-term goals, which are what you're going to do after Ramadan to keep this spirituality going. So set a course for your future and lay out a well-structured plan of action. This is what you all should be working on these last 10 days. What you're going to do after Ramadan to keep this spirituality going. What are you going to do after Ramadan to maintain this connection with Allah? Are you going to stop coming to Laila's classes? Many of you are just Ramadan Muslims. It's time to come out of Ramadan Muslim and being an everyday Muslim. I'm going to continue to join the classes every day, even after Ramadan. I'm going to center my time around those two classes, 6:30 and 9:30. Whatever I do, I know 6:30 and 9:30, that's my time to learn about Allah. So set a course for your future and then lay out a structured plan to get there. And again, every day of your life should begin with a plan, guys. Every day when you wake up, you should have a to-do list. When you get up in the morning, have a to-do list and focus your attention on it throughout the day. This type of daily planning should be part of your long-term planning aimed at achieving your goal. Okay? So you have to do this every day. Begin with a plan. Monthly and yearly reviews of your plans are a must so you can stay on track. So when Ramadan ends, if your plan is in 3 months, for example, to have lost 25 pounds, you're going to review every month. You're going to review your weight. How much did I lose this month? Okay. Did I lose 10 pounds? Did I lose 5 pounds, 15? Or did I gain? So you're going to have to review your plans so you can stay on track. Finally, you also have to have priorities for yourself. Set priorities for yourself. Prioritizing is the key to relieve the stress of too little time, because what we want to do requires more time than we have. You know that. So you have to have your priorities. Number one, dressing the way Allah commanded. That's my priority number one. Then my second priority is losing weight, losing 20 pounds. Then my third priority is having that closet cleaned out, okay? That garage cleaned out within 2 months. Then my fourth priority, so set priorities. That way you can reach each goal, in a nice measured time. And also, this helps you to decide which task will bring about the greatest, return for you. Is cleaning out that garage going to bring out a better return for me than covering up, than dressing the way Allah commanded me to dress? Now, I want you sisters to take a look at this picture here. Now, this is a picture of somebody I know in real life. This sister here, she is a secretary. She works at a doctor. It's not Carmetta. She works at a doctor's office, though. She wears this is a taban that she has on. This is a loose-fitting smock-like top. Okay, she's a medical assistant. So the way she has her kimar, okay, is wrapped around, okay, but still, by being a nurse, she can't have it coming all the way down like I got mine on, because it's going to get in the way of her taking the blood pressures and all of that. So she wears a very, very loose fitting smock. If she stood up from this desk, this smock would be so loose you wouldn't be able to see anything, okay? You women can dress this way. Those of you who work as nurses, medical assistants, secretaries, and stuff like that. Yeah, this is a real picture of somebody I know. I took it off her Facebook page. She told me I could. All right. Okay. So, but you women need to work on how you dressing. So I want you guys to set priorities. I want you to work on goals, short-term goals for these next 10 days, learning a surah of the Quran, or having your house clean, or dressing properly. And then also make long-term goals of things that you're going to do after Ramadan. I'm going to memorize more surahs of the Quran. Okay, I'm going to make sure I attend Layla's classes, and I'm going to do this and do that, go to the mosque for this, that. But make sure that everything is prioritized, okay? And here's a picture of the smock. So thus, guys, to get the most out of the last 10 days of Ramadan, we must take the time. You have to take the time to manage your time productively. Doing this will keep you from falling victim to shaitan and losing out on the benefit of these last 10 days. Y'all see that smock she has on? That's a smock. Look at the sleeves. Look how loose it is on her. This is the way she dresses when she's at work professionally. She's covered. She's beautiful too. Okay?
Time to break fast, Layla.
Okay. Well, we're done. So that's it anyway. That's it. And by the way, guys, look at this picture. You see how her kimar covers her. Cover your bosom. Draw your kimar over your bosom. I don't know where you sisters get the way y'all dressing from, but it sure is ridiculous. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here. Subhana Kalahuma Wabi Hamdika Ashadu an la ilaha illa anta. Did I close it up? Wait a minute, I'm trying to close it up. Wait a minute. Oh, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to talk about this too, procrastination and laziness. That's tomorrow, but I didn't want y'all to see it yet. Let me try to take it down. What, can they see me still or what? What do y'all see? How do I get the PowerPoint? I don't want to show my PowerPoint from tomorrow. Hold on, guys. Oh, it's going through. I got to go through the whole thing. Okay. All right. There you go. Now it's down. Okay. All right. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Any questions or comments? Any questions? Okay, it broke my back. Okay, any questions? I'm sorry. Yeah, so I want you guys to work on those goals. Work on setting those goals for yourself. And for my new Shahada sisters, I'm going to tell y'all, the first goal should be the way y'all dressing. What's up with you women today? You know, y'all, what's up with this blazer? Latifa, that's the new style. Muslim women with blazers and all they front out. Who created that style? What's the point in wearing a long top, but it's open in the front, showing your butt, your boobs and your stomach and waist? What is this? You women are crazy. That's the college campus look. That's why a woman needs to stay home. Going to college turns you women out like that. You need to stay home. They got online school. Get your degree online. Yeah. All right. Yes, go ahead, brother. You got a question? Go ahead. Okay, the brother here is asking, he said, Sister Layla, I saw the short that you put out about the Muslims praying in the street. And yes, I attached the Dalil too, because it's disgusting. He said, I read the hadith. Okay, brother, the hadith is clear. I not only gave y'all the hadith by verbally in that short. If you see, that is a Sahih Bukhari hadith. That hadith is authentic. The people tried to do, like I tell you Muslims, there is nothing that we're doing today that the Muslims have not already tried to do in the Prophet's time. They wanted to pray in the marketplace and in the streets back in Medina. This ain't new. The Prophet told them the marketplace is not the place of prayer. He said, why aren't you people at the mosque praying? Oh, we doing congregation. They did congregation in the marketplace. The same way these brothers are doing congregation in the streets. So that hadith is Sahih Bukhari. I put the source there. That's authentic. The Prophet said that your prayer in the mosque is much more rewarding than you gathering together to pray in the streets or to pray in the market. And that's when Allah sent down the verse of the Quran saying that the masjids are the houses of Allah and they are manned by the believers. So now do y'all see why Allah is angry? That is an authentic hadith. That's Sahih Bukhari. You can't change it. There's no excuse for these brothers to be choosing to pray in the street over the mosque. They're idiots. They're doing it for fame. They're trying to get subscribers on YouTube. They're trying to make the Guinness Book of Records. They're looking for fame. They're disgraceful. So that's what I'm telling you guys. When y'all are learning your religion, you have to be careful who you taking your knowledge from. That's an authentic hadith. Your prophet said, what you doing praying in the streets? We don't do that. We pray at the mosque, not the streets. And if somebody doesn't want to accept a hadith, brother, then why are you friends with that person? Like I told you guys, that hadith where the prophet said, take advantage of 5 things before before the Antichrist and stuff. There's another authentic hadith, Sahih Muslim. The other hadith, if you live to see the war against Islam, for those who did not believe in Allah and were not practicing before that war happens, and they ain't gonna practice and believe after. So people don't believe in the hadiths no more. Most Muslims are practicing their own religion. The hadiths have become abandoned. The hadiths have become forgotten. It's all about singing the Quran and following fatwas from sheikhs and muftis and other people. So they don't want to accept that hadith. It's not your job, brother. And this is what I want you young brothers to understand. Allah makes Muslims, not you. Allah makes believers, not you. You would be a fool to sit there and fight with those idiots. Let those idiots do what they do. Allah will deal with them. You understand that you don't pray in the street. You follow the hadith of the Prophet. It ain't your job to try to force Islam upon those idiots and those other idiots. Leave them to Allah. Okay? And you stay away from the streets. Yeah. All right, any other questions? Yes, sister, that's no, you can't wear that either. For my new Shahada women, I think I told you guys before, we don't wear belts. What's up with this? Nope. Blazers that are open, showing your chest, that's haram. Belts, we don't tie belts around our waist. No, we don't wear belts. What's the point? The belt pulls everything in so they can see you. We can't dress that way. That's not the way a believing woman dress. That's being naked. That's being dressed and still naked. No belts. The Muslim lady sent it to you. So the Muslim men are praying in the street. Just because a Muslim lady sent you something don't mean that it's Islam. I mean, people are committing sins. Most Muslims ain't dressing right today. Yeah. So if it's got a belt, no, we don't wear belts. No belts. It defeats the purpose of having an overgarment. Okay, whenever we make any type of prayers, guys, your personal supplications can be said whenever. You know, the prophet said the best time to recite your personal supplications is when you're prostrating. So whatever personal supplications you want to make, you can make them when you're prostrating. Remember? And for the new shahadas, I want y'all to do that. Whatever personal supplications you have, whenever you pray, be it a voluntary prayer or an obligatory one, the closest position that a person can have before Allah is prostration. When you're prostrating, that's when you ask Allah for whatever it is you want. That's when you make whatever personal supplication you want. You can also make your personal supplications in ruku'ah, when you're bowing too. You can make your personal supplication when you're bowing, and you can make your personal supplication when you are prostrating, anytime. And is there a specific supplication that you have to say? No. Other than the tashahhud. Okay? Whatever supplication you want to make. Ask Allah to cure you of your sickness. Keep your mind strong. Guide your kids to Islam. Keep your children practicing, because we making babies after babies, but our apostation is ridiculous. We need to start praying that Allah keeps our children firm upon Islam, the correct Islam, because our children are growing up and taking on other beliefs. Yeah, but that's the problem, Mina. They don't want to remove the belt. Who wants to take a belt off? Everybody. What woman don't like to show her butt? That's the problem. What woman don't like to show her assets? Don't buy them. But the question that these sisters are saying is they don't see nothing wrong with a belt. They like to wear belts. Don't wear it. If you wear a belt, you ain't dressed properly. Buy you some abayas, overgarment. Abaya is an Arabic word that means overgarment. It's a loose fitting. Loose fitting doesn't have belts. It's loose and covers you where they can't see your shape or your skin. That's what abaya means in English. No, we don't buy belts. What's the point? I like belts too. Y'all know I like to show my girls. I got some girls. But that's haram. We don't do that. What woman wouldn't want to? What is your question, Rashida? I just answered it. I just answered. Any personal supplication you want to make, Rashida, you can make it when you're prostrating or bowing. There is no specific supplication to make when you pray. You can accept the tashahhud. So if that's a supplication that you want to make, then you can make it when you're prostrating or bowing. But do you have to say that? No, that's not part of the salat. That's not a pillar of the prayer. I don't know what she's asking now. I don't know what you're asking. What do you mean? The prayer opens with takbir. The prayer does not open with a supplication. It opens with the Allahu Akbar. That's a personal supplication. That is not a pillar of the prayer. If you want to say that supplication, then you should say it. Oh, you talking about before the Fatiha? Are you asking me that that's not a pillar of the prayer either? If you choose to say that before the Fatiha, you can or you don't have to. It's not a pillar. That's why we have to learn the pillars of the prayer, guys. Let's see who can tell me. Who forgot? Y'all forgot that? What are the pillars of the prayer? Who can name them? If I had money, I'd give you $100. We just had that when I did the prayer class. Can anybody tell me what are the pillars of the prayer? Okay, Sister Rashida, I just answered it. That's not a pillar of the prayer. That is not a pillar of the prayer. That is not a pillar. So what does that mean? That means you ain't got to ever say it at all, period. If you want to say that before the Fatiha, you can. But do you have to? No, it's not a pillar. Can somebody tell me what are the pillars of the prayer? Y'all forgot the pillars? Let me see who's in my Zoom room. I'm glad she asked that. Let's see. Who's here? Let's start at the top. Fame, what are the pillars of the prayer? Yasmin, what are the pillars of the prayer? Anissa, what are the pillars of the prayer? Carmetta, what are the pillars of the prayer? Elma, that did look like Elma, didn't it? What are the pillars of the prayer? Fartoon, Geechee, you ain't breaking fast yet, Geechee. Geechee, what are the pillars of the prayer? Ikra, what are the pillars of the prayer? Aisha, Layla, you milking the sheep? What are the pillars of the prayer? Latifa. Latifa, what are the pillars of the prayer? Let's see. Latifa used to know. Latifa, what are the pillars of the prayer? Norto, Precious, Rockmo, Sahra, Sabrine. Sabrine, what are the pillars of the prayer? Y'all forgot? Boy, if I had $100, I'd give it to the person that could tell me. Brother Ahmad, what are the pillars of the prayer? Nobody knows. Mina.
One of the pillars of the prayer is the Fatiha.
Okay, well, let's start at the beginning. That way you can get them. Y'all passed it on the quiz a couple of months ago. Y'all don't forget. Start at the beginning of the prayer. What's the pillar? What's the first pillar? What opens the prayer?
Intentions.
Okay, here we go. Now we getting it. Intentions.
Hands and say Allahu Akbar.
Right. The first pillar, the intention. Second pillar, the opening takbir. Good job. Next pillar. Fatiha. Good job. Next pillar.
Bowing.
The ruku'. Good job. Next pillar.
Prostration.
Prostration. Good job. Next pillar.
Sitting.
The sitting. Next pillar.
Tashahud.
Which tashahud?
Second one.
The second tashahud. Last pillar.
Salam to the right.
Exactly. Giving salams to the right. They got it. Those are the pillars of the prayer. Anything else is not a pillar. And I want y'all to look up the meaning of pillar and highly recommend. To recommend something. Okay, take care of Anissa's television, y'all. To highly recommend something. Is that an obligation? Does the word obligation mean to recommend?
No.
No.
So Rashida, If Allah says something is obligatory, is that the same as him saying that something is recommended? Get a dictionary. Y'all got to get a dictionary. Obligation means if you don't do it, the action is not accepted. So if I don't raise my hands before bowing, is my prayer accepted? If I don't, what?
What did you say?
If I do not raise my hands before bowing, or after bowing, is my prayer accepted?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Because that's not a pillar. Y'all got to learn the pillars of the prayer. If I don't put my hands across my chest, is my prayer accepted?
Yes.
Yes, it is, because that's not a pillar either. If I don't if I don't taslim to the left, is my prayer accepted?
Yes.
Yes, it is, because that's not a pillar either. If I do not recite the Fatiha in the third rakat, is my prayer accepted?
No.
No, it's not, because Fatiha in every rakat is a pillar. If I don't make the tashahhud, if I forget the tashahhud in the first sitting, is my prayer accepted?
Yes.
Yes, it is, because that's not a pillar. Do I have to make a supplication before I recite the Fatiha?
No.
No, that ain't no pillar. Y'all better, this is what the prophet is talking about. The days of the Ruwaybidah, the days of fitin before the war. We're living in those days. He said right before those 80 nations declare war against Islam, the Muslims living on earth at that time, they won't know the basics of the religion. They won't know the pillars of the prayer. They won't know the pillars of wudu, but they'll run their mouths. They'll talk about politics. They'll make things haram that Allah didn't make haram. They'll make things lawful that Allah didn't make lawful, but they're ignorant. If you were to ask them the basics, like how does a Muslim woman dress, they won't be able to tell you. So now do y'all see that we're living in those days? That's why I come down so hard on y'all. Because when we see these hadiths playing out with the people today, we want to argue and fight over stupid stuff like digital music. You don't know what digital music is? That ain't nothing. But you supposed to know the pillars of the prayer. We're supposed to know that. That's something Allah is going to ask you about, is the pillars of the prayer. He ain't going to ask you about no digital stuff. Days of the Ruwaybidah. We got to get it together as Muslims, y'all. We are in those days. It's scary. Real scary. Yeah. It's not an obligation. And that's not the only supplication either. Just for the new shahadas to know, she's asking, there's several. There's 4 different supplications that you can say before the Fatiha. You don't have to. She's talking about one. There's others, but you don't have to. I try to teach my shahadas the Fatiha. The things that you don't have to do, I don't waste my time with like that, because you have to learn that Fatiha. You can recite all the supplications you want to, but if you do not pronounce the Fatiha correctly and you don't know the Fatiha, guess what? Your prayer ain't accepted. That's why we have to focus on the obligations. And then after you learn the obligations, then you can do the voluntary stuff. It makes sense. Doesn't that make sense, Goldie? Learn the obligations. I look like a fool making personal supplications when I don't even know the Fatiha. What's the point? My prayer ain't accepted because I ain't said no Fatiha. Yeah, but that's not an obligation, Rashida. You can say that if you want, you don't have to. Some of the companions never said them. Just to let y'all know, some of the companions didn't say them at all. So that's not important. What's important is Al-Fatiha. And most Muslims today do not know the Fatiha. That's what's important. Yeah. Sister Fartune, you had a question?
Oh, no, sorry. I just touched on accident.
Oh, that's okay. I thought you was asking about it. Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, don't forget, guys, Brother Malik is here every day at 5 o'clock. For those of you who do need help with the Fatiha and y'all need help with the Tashahhud and your prayers, make sure y'all join the Zoom room. Yeah, the Zoom room every day at 5 Eastern Standard. Brother Malik will help you with the Fatiha. He'll also help you with how to pray. And for my new Shahadas, the ones that are learning the Fatiha, remember, until you learn it, all you have to say is Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, and Allahu Akbar. That's all y'all have to say. But as you learn the Fatiha, recite what you know. For example, the ones that learned Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Say that. And then say Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. You got it? Yeah, y'all continue to do that for the new Shahadas. Yeah, but she's talking about a personal supplication. You don't have to learn that at all. Yeah. Any other questions? And by the way, I completed that series on the prayer. I did. We talked about all that. Yeah. What's the pillars of the wudu? Oh, the brother here said, I didn't know they had pillars of the wudu. What are the pillars of the wudu? Who can tell him the pillars of the wudu? Come on, Mina.
The hands.
Start in order.
Yeah.
What's the first pillar?
The head,
intentions.
Good job, Mina. The intentions of before everything. Everything is intention. Then what else? Well, after then go ahead. After that. Go ahead, guys.
Hands.
The hands. Good job. The face.
The water. You can use water or dirt.
The what?
Huh?
Who said something about dirt? What? What happened?
I don't know. I heard the same thing to the said, huh?
Who said dirt?
She said you can use water or dirt.
That ain't. I want to know the pillars of the wudu.
I know. I'm cracking up. I'm sorry.
What are the pillars of the wudu? Name them. Ask the kids. Okay.
So hand.
Yeah, go ahead.
So hands, face, arms, head, feet.
Exactly.
Sunnah is mouth and nose.
There you go. The mouth and the nose are the sunnahs of the wudu. Exactly. What about this? What about this? It's a big question we always get. Sister Laila, that hadith didn't mention anything about ears. How do you respond?
The head and the ears is the same thing.
The ears are part of the head. Exactly. So when they come at you with that hadith from Bukhari, because Bukhari, the prophet details the pillars of the wudu, and you'll get some smart aleck that'll say they don't mention no ears. The ears, as the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in another hadith, the ears are part of the head. The ears are part of the head. Yeah, so remember that for the kids. Yeah, we got to review that stuff. See why it's good to review? Because we forget. We're learning so much stuff, man. I'm teaching you guys the basics, but it's so much. And if you got to go over it or we forget. Yeah. That's what Allah means when he says in the Quran, man is forever forgetful. We always forget. Yeah. That's just part of being human. So you yes, brother Malik. Yes, the first tashahhud. The first tashahhud is not a pillar. The second is. The second tashahhud. So if you forgot, if you're making salat and you forgot the first tashahhud, do you have to remake your prayer? No. As long as you made that second one. Exactly. When you give salams, the second taslim is a sunnah. And so say you're praying with an imam. Some of the imams will do that to follow the sunnah sometimes. And it may look strange. You're praying with an imam and y'all sitting at the end of the prayer. He goes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And he gets up. And you like, wait a minute. You didn't give the second salam. He's following the sunnah because sometimes the prophet didn't give the second. That's a sunnah. That's not a pillar. Your prayer is accepted without the second taslim. Yeah, that's why we have to learn the obligations and the pillars. And this is one of the signs. Right before the war against Islam, most Muslims will not know the pillars of anything. They won't know the pillars of anything. And that's what we're living in today. They don't know. But they got a lot of mouth about other stuff. Stuff that ain't going to benefit them at all. Exactly. Okay, the imam told you what? Okay, this brother here, Brother Bilal, he says at the mosque he went to, the imam told him to recite the Fatiha in the first and second rakat. He said, Sister Layla, do I have to recite it in the third and fourth too? Brother Bilal's a new shahada. So he didn't know. Yes, the Fatiha must be recited in every rakat. Otherwise, your prayer is not accepted. And if you didn't know, don't worry about it. Allah will still reward you. You don't have to make no prayers up because you didn't know. But now you know. Yes, you have to recite it, Bilal, in every rakat. Even in the Sunnah prayers. When you're doing the Sunnah prayers, which you don't have to do, but when you're doing them, all you have to recite is Fatiha. You don't have to recite no other Quran, just Fatiha. Yeah. Yeah, we need to review that prayer a lot because this is, on a regular basis because people just forget. Exactly. And you're going to a good mosque, Brother Bilal. The mosque that you go to is a good mosque. You got a good imam. He'll help you. Yes. All right, guys. No other questions. We went to the prayer. The pillars and the sunnahs. Yeah, there's pillars for everything. There's a pillars of the shahada too. Pillars of dress. Pillars of everything. Exactly. And I'm proud of all of you guys. That you guys, especially the new shahadas, I am so proud of all of you. And for my sisters here, the polygamy sisters, I'm going to tell y'all something. This Friday's Q&A. This Friday's Q&A is going to be a deep one because I promised these polygamy sisters that I would entertain their questions. You brothers got some problems. You brothers out there with the 2, 3, 4, y'all need to hit the dough. Some stuff that you brothers are doing. Oh yeah, what's wrong with you? 2, 3, 4. You need to hit the dough. The way y'all treating your wives. It's sad, man. It makes my heart just cringe into how you brothers are treating your wives. You showing favoritism. What is up with this? Oh my God, it's disgusting. It makes me sick. Favoring some wives over others. What is wrong with you men? God, I bet you don't know the pillars of the prayer either. There's pillars of polygamy too. Who can tell me what are the pillars of polygamy? There's pillars to everything in Islam. When you learn this religion like I did, when you learn from the real scholars like I did, oh yeah, that's how Sheikh Morsi will come at me. My quiz would be, what are the pillars of marriage, Layla? What are the pillars of the Shahada, Layla? What are the pillars of the Day of Judgment? What are the pillars? There's pillars to everything in Islam. That's how we, the people of knowledge, learn. We have to learn the pillars first so we can teach you. Who can tell me what are the pillars of polygamy? Oh yeah, you brothers ain't doing the pillars. And we're going to talk about that on Friday. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Yeah. Okay, guys, let me log out so I can eat something and drink this stuff I got sitting here. And inshallah. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was thinking about the prayer. I think we forgot one pillar. Do we have to have the intention of facing the Qibla?
That's a pillar too. That's a pillar too. Yeah, that's a pillar too. We have to face the intention, face the Qibla. But what happens if you don't know which direction the Qibla is? What do you do then? That's a good question. What do you do if you don't know what direction the Qibla is?
Well, if I look at the sun, my husband says always have the sun behind you. So I would just estimate, I guess.
Well, what if you
the best of my knowledge?
Yeah, if you don't know, then you guess. Allah still will accept your prayer, guys. Yeah, the Qibla is a pillar, but you may find yourself in a situation where you don't know which way is east. You think you got the right direction, but you can't tell from the sun. That happened to me one time when I lived in Batavia. When I lived in Batavia for 3 years, I was praying facing the wrong direction and didn't know it. I thought that was the right direction, and I can tell by the sun. But my brother Isa came and said, Layla, it appears to be the right direction, but I was praying facing the wrong direction for 3 years. Okay, you try to, you make the best attempt and Allah will still reward you. Yeah, but the Qibla is a pillar too. But again, that's where your intentions come in. Allah knows that your intentions were to face that Qibla. So you good to go. Alhamdulillah. Because sometimes you don't know what the sun's to your back. I thought I was praying with it to my back. And it was to my back, but I was still wrong. And I can usually read the sun. I was shocked. Yeah. Shows all of us. None of us know it all. Yeah. But y'all did good on those pillars. I'm proud of you. Okay, I'm going to log out. At 9:30, guys, I have the, what you call it? My reminders from the Sunnah at 9:30, which is another hour from now. I'm going to give you guys a hadith advice from the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some advice that the Prophet gave the companions that we can apply to ourselves. So I'll be back on, inshallah, I'll log back on at 9:30. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.